Yo, what's up? It's Drew. I'm back for another book review. Today's book is 0 to 1 by the great man Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is a Silicon Valley investor, very famous. Basically, he's very well known for being the first investor in Facebook. If you saw the movie The Social Network, you may have seen him. He was the investor in it. He also started PayPal. He created what's called the PayPal Mafia, and that was basically like the most elite team in business that we've ever seen. It included Peter Thiel as CEO, Elon Musk was a part of that team, the YouTube founders, the Yelp founders, founder of LinkedIn. It was a really, really robust team who Peter Thiel led and helped them all start off their careers. But anyway, this book, I'm going to be reviewing it today. It's 0 to 1. And basically, I think the book is very well summed up in kind of the first paragraph. So I'm going to start off with that. This is the very first page. Peter Thiel starts off, "Every moment in business happens only once. The next Bill Gates will not build an operating system. The next Larry Page or Sergey Brin won't make a search engine. And the next Mark Zuckerberg won't create a social network. If you're copying these guys, you aren't learning from them." Basically, kind of what he's, at least what I gather from what he's trying to say there is the really, really valuable companies that we know of today, all the ones that have lasted through just horrible times. They've maybe lasted through the Great Recession or the internet bubble, or any companies that have longevity and long-term value. They're always companies that were started from nothing. They weren't. He talks about there's two types of companies. There's monopoly companies and there's perfectly competitive companies. Monopoly companies are ones like the ones that I just read, where they saw the world and they saw a need that needed to be filled, and they just went ahead and created it. It was an idea that was in their head and it did not yet exist in the world. And they basically took that as an opportunity, built something, and then created a very robust company. The other type of companies, which he calls perfectly competitive, they take ideas or concepts that are already very well in place, and they'll make a spin here or a spin there off of it, and just create a different version of it. And basically, those companies, over time, what they end up doing, because they took an already existing model, it'll attract a bunch of other people to go after that same model. If you're making money in it, then it's going to attract other competitors to come try and compete with you and make money as well. And so basically what happens is, if you're in the same market, you end up competing for the attention of the consumers. And so whether it's through your marketing budget, whether it's through little battles that these companies create with each other, what ends up happening is all the profits that they make, they end up competing away. And they actually, at the end of the year, leave with very little in their pocket. So, and kind of the monopolistic companies, the ones that have created something, basically, since they have the model and they're the ones who created it, they just know the business up and down, backwards and forwards. They know every aspect of it. So when someone tries to copy their model, it's just very easy for them to just dominate them. I mean, they just, if you look at the history of when other competitors try and steal the model from the one who created the model, it's just carnage for those companies. And so that's why he says, I mean, it's obviously no secret. You want to create a monopolistic company rather than a perfectly competitive one. But what's interesting is he starts to go into his investment philosophy and how he chooses companies that he believes will turn into robust monopolies like the ones that we see today. And he starts off by saying that always the founder of these monopoly companies seem to have some secret, right? And so their secret, basically, what he goes into it is the same question that he asks every single person who comes into his office is, what do you believe about the world that the rest of the world disagrees with you on? And usually that secret is something that you have some knowledge or expertise on, that you've nerded out on some kind of topic and you know a lot about it, whereas the rest of society who hasn't gone as deep on that topic as you have, they have not caught up to your secret, right? And so basically what you have is a time frame where you know something that the rest of society hasn't caught up with. So that time frame, when they're catching up with you, is your time to build a business. When you have that secret, you look for a small underserved market of people who need a solution to the secret that you have. Most likely, if the rest of the world hasn't caught up with it yet, then there's some market that's being underserved. So you take that secret and you spin it into some kind of value that you can provide to this underserved market. And then just as time progresses and as more people start to figure out whatever it is that you know, you'll have built a structure that is robust. You'll have built a business and formed relationships with that smaller underserved community that when the rest of society comes pretty much advances and is up to date, then you have a structure that you can now serve all these people. You can expand it into different industries. You can do all kinds of things. So those were kind of the two main points that I took from it, is the companies that hold real value in today's society. They're ones that, like I said, they have completely monopolized some segment of the market. And they, from that, once they had that small, tiny segment, then they scale it up or they scale it across to different industries. But they figure out the model with one tiny core group of audience. And those founders, their competitive advantage is that they know so much more than society about that one secret, that one little thing that they know that the rest of the world hasn't yet caught up with them on. So again, I really enjoyed this book. There's a lot more to it. Literally, I just touched the first couple chapters. There's so much more just hidden value in this book. And so I highly recommend you get it. It's and like I said, it's from a guy who has done it at the highest levels. And he includes a lot of his investment philosophy in here. It's just really interesting stuff. So if you're thinking about starting a company, this is a very good kind of inspirational seed. It'll really get you thinking. I think he's a great kind of business philosopher. So what it'll do is when you read this book, it'll just start putting a bunch of ideas into your mind, and it'll help you start thinking about your own situation and kind of what advantages, what secrets do you have, and it'll give you a little bit of an inspirational seed if you're looking for one. So again, 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, highly recommended.